Welcome to Sodo Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. We are hitting the ground running today because we have to do this setup real quick for the bridal show, and I figured I would bring you guys along to show you how I do this setup. Now, I haven't done anything this extensive in the past as far as the amount of drapes I use, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me, but also a way to show you guys how I set up this 4-layer backdrop for the bridal show. So I'm wanting to play with several different fabric textures just to give the backdrop some depth. So I'm starting with this sheer voile crushed white fabric, so it has that transparent look to it. I've put about 5 panels, and this is going to be our first layer to the backdrop. Now you want to make sure you take the time to spread out your fabric so it's nice and even, because once you raise your backdrop, you can see the difference in how the fabric is gathered. So with each layer, I take time to even everything out so it's nice and even. Second layer, now we're going to put our other fabrics. I'm bringing all my bins here so that I have the fabric. What I did with the upright is I put my valance hanger on the back of the upright and the front of the upright, so that once my drapes are on, they're going to be even. I'm already working really fast, and I want to show you guys my little sketch. If I can get my phone to adjust right, is how I have like 2 of the silver, 2 blue, 2 navy on both sides, just as a sketch of how I'm planning to design the backdrop. Sometimes I'll do that, and sometimes I'll actually draw out the design with the numbers on it, but this was faster for me, and I just took a picture of the paper I wrote down. I was saying that I put the valance hanger on the back of the upright and the front, so that the middle pole will sit like the second piece of the backdrop is what I'm doing now, but that white sheer voile fabric is towards the back of the upright, and my front piece will be on the front valance hanger, just to give my backdrop a balance. So I'm putting the navy blue. There is a 4-way stretch fabric. I love those for my backdrops because they're easier to work with, they don't need ironing, and they form the most beautiful swoops. I'm also working with this glitz fabric, so it's a shimmer glitz fabric, sequin fabric, but it's glitz, so it has a slight transparency to it, but that gives some dimension and that shimmer to the backdrop. So this is going to be our centerpiece. I'm pretty much going to repeat the same thing on the left side to make it nice and even. I'm here with Matt today. He is setting up the dance floor and helping me set up the rest of the booth. So we came the day before so we can set up our booth and do the flowers, and he's helping me out, but I don't have much time. I just finished the balloons. I'm gonna do that in a separate video so you guys can see that, but I know some of you are more interested in the drapes and some more in the balloons. So don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, so when I post the video for the balloons, you can see the balloon backdrop. At this point, we have to measure our backdrop, right, so that we find a center point, because it's always good to make things even. You can see where I'm shifting the fabric there so that it's in the middle, then spreading out my other fabric so everything is nice and even. In the meantime, Matt is putting together the serpentine table, because for this bridal show, I decide to represent a lot of different items that we have for rent. So we're gonna work on our front, third layer of the backdrop next. So in order for us not to block your view, I'm asking if Matt can come help me so it's faster, because time is against us for this day. The bridal show is tomorrow, but I know I won't have much help tomorrow. So while I work on threading the fabric for the right side, he's going to repeat the same thing on the left side, and then I'll show you guys how I gather all the fabric to get it all set up. Now the front piece is slightly different. This is just to add dimension, and I said the backdrop has a lot of fabric. Even Matt was saying, why do you have to put so much fabric on it? That's too much. But for you to have that elegant look, that elegant design, you need that dimension, you need the fabric. So that is what I'm creating here today. And of course, why not go all out, right? It's the bridal show. We don't have the opportunity very much to design this. I'm hoping we are blessed to be able to design more of these for customers. And I do have a customer next month that I will be designing for, who wants 2 different backdrops for a wedding. One for like a cake table and another for where the couple will sit. And you guys will see that video. So again, don't forget to subscribe. We're going to put all this fabric. Next, I'm folding this into 2 because I'm going to use this as my 4th layer. So you want to find your midpoint, pin it in the middle. Then on that right side, you're going to create a swoop. So you're going to hold where you're going to pin. I'm using pipe cleaners here. You're going to hold where it's going to gather. Then use your left hand to gather all the fabric and twist that pipe cleaner. Then thread it through your upright and twist again. That's how you hold it in place. I'm helping him here put that heavy glass on there so that we don't break it. Next, we're going to repeat the same thing on the left side. So hold where you're gathering, kind of fold the fabric in and out of your hand till you get to the top. Use your pipe cleaner, secure it in place, then thread one end through your upright and then twist it again. You can see we still have gaps on the sides. We're just going to pin those up and then gather our center point. So that is what I'm going to do there. I'm going to use another pipe cleaner to hold that whole thing in place, this time putting it around my crossbar. We're putting that other table. I brought the 2 tabletops I have just to give people different ideas of what they can rent. So again, back to that, using the pipe cleaner to hold it in place, but making sure the ends of the pipe cleaner are facing backwards. We're going to make adjustments. I was in such a rush here that I did not step back to see that it was even. You can kind of see how the left side is lower than the right. I noticed that later and we'll fix that later on. But for now, we are pushing to quickly get as much as we can get done as possible. And then we will come back tomorrow with less work. Now I'm creating my shoulder pads or my pole covers by threading my fingers through where you put the fabric on the poles and just using one pipe cleaner to put that through, then twist on the sides. Once I have that done, then I can cover my pole. Normally I would use the same navy blue on the ends there just to give it that consistent look, but I did not have enough of the navy blue fabric, so I went with the white and it still worked out just fine. So as you can see, we're making 2 because we have the left side and the right side to cover. So you're just working your fingers through, gathering the fabric till you get to the end, thread the pipe cleaner and then twist that in place to hold it. Then you kind of arrange it over the backdrop. Now everything is set. Make sure you are happy with how it looks because it's time to raise the backdrop. He's telling me to wait so he can help me out. It's very, very heavy at this point. Think of all that fabric. So we're going to raise it, decide how tall we want it. Obviously, I want it taller than my backdrop itself for the bridal show because I want it to stand out. So he's helping me raise it as high as we need it to be. And then we'll start working on our gathering of the fabric and our actual design of the fabric. Now I'm just moving the excess fabric out of the way because I do want to work from the inside out. So he's adjusting the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Thank God he was there because I completely forgot to pay attention to that. But I'm going to get my pipe cleaners together ready because when you're folding, you don't want to let go later. I'm tucking in that back fabric and moving all the front pieces to the front and having just room to work on that middle one. My goal here is to gather the middle drapes all in the middle. So what you want to do is stand right where you want to gather so that you don't move from that spot. And I'm just working with my fingers, folding with both hands in and out, kind of in a, how do you call it, like a fan manner, gathering everything together so that they're all in my hands. Now it's up to you how big of a fabric you can hold or how much fabric you're able to gather in your hand for when you tie. But once I feel like I can't hold anymore because you don't want to let go of your design, then I just let go, I just tie, and then I have it all set. Like I said, this glitz fabric doesn't fold as well as that navy blue 4-way stretch fabric, so I'm fixing my pleats here so that they're nice. But with this last one, I'm gathering how I gathered that top piece so that it creates that deeper swoop right there. Another thing I kind of regretted with this is I should have done this higher, this piece, tied it higher so it would show above the table, but no problem. Again, we're doing the same thing on the opposite side, just gathering that fabric between our hands. You always want to make sure the raw part, the very end of your fabric, is not pointing outwards, but it's inside the fabric, so that the fold, you're seeing folds and not seeing the cut part of the fabric. So we're gathering that center point, connecting the two pieces to form one. So pretty much gathering everything to the center. Have my pipe, handy dandy pipe cleaners there to hold everything in place, and I'm fixing my glitter navy blue fabric now on that side to make it even. It's harder to see this because I have all that fabric, but at least you can see the technique and the way I'm explaining it so you can understand what I'm doing. When I do have time, I'll see how I can record a slower, more close-up version for you guys to actually learn what I'm doing if I have help recording, because it would need back and forth close-up and I can't record and do that at the same time. So if you're interested in that, let me know, because I don't want to do a video that none of you are interested in or take the time. Good morning, we are back for the rest of the setup, so I need to hurry up, get this done. Not too much left, but the drapes need to be finished. I noticed this side is smaller than that side, so I need to find a ladder. I forgot my ladder at home. Get a ladder so I can fix that. But in the meantime, let's finish the backdrop, set up the rest of our table. I want to put some flowers if I have time, so let's get on with it. So like I said, this was day 2. I'm by myself today. Matt helped set up pretty much everything. I'm just gonna finish off the backdrop. Now this front piece is going to swoop right and left. So the middle one, we gathered everything to the center. The front piece, we're going to create a swoop to be able to show what we gathered in the middle. And I noticed yesterday I forgot to set up this last piece, which I'm gathering with my hand like you saw me do on the left side, repeating the same thing on the right and gathering all that in the middle as well. Once we're done with that, then we can move on to our front fabric. So I'm standing right where the upright is because that is where I want to gather the fabric. Again, using both hands to fold the fabric in your hand back and forth until you have those nice pleats. If you can't hold anymore, use your pipe cleaner to tie and then keep folding. We're just gonna keep folding until we get to the white, and you'll see the reveal of that middle drapes, that we did initially. So I'm still folding. With the white, I want a deeper swoop like I did with the shimmer navy blue there, so you'll see that here shortly. I'm just tying that, and I will add the white. The fabric just got heavier. I'm actually tying that to the upright so that it stays in place and doesn't move over because the fabric does get heavier. More pipe cleaners, attaching my first white piece like I did with the others. Gather that together, tie that because I'll need to do a deeper swoop with that last piece. So I'm tying that as well to the pole, and then I'm going to take my other piece, hold it where I want it to gather, then hold the fabric and fold in my hand. Love this fabric, the 4-way stretch fabric. I get that in different colors. The others are just for that embellishment, but these work best to create those nice swoops and those nice pleats. Stepping back to see my design, and that's where I noticed that middle part is a little bit lower than I want it to be. I'm connecting 2 pipe cleaners here just so I have more room to hold the fabrics on, and I don't have to keep using the pipe cleaners over and over. Repeating the same thing on the left side, pleating, and then we'll create our swoop. So please don't forget to like the video if you're interested, or if this video helps you out. It really supports my channel, and why not share as well so we can spread the word to help the channel grow. I really appreciate that. Gathering the fabric in my hand, and there you go. So easy when you have the good fabric to work with. It just does its thing. So now I'm just checking to see how I can add the embellishment, but first I want to raise that middle part more. So I'm just trying to figure out tying that pipe cleaner higher, making sure that it's nice and tight, because eventually you do want to remove some of the pipe cleaners that are going to be showing. So I'm removing the excess ones on the bottom so that they don't show through, because we're going to cover that piece with our sequin holder. So I have just 1 pipe cleaner. Now I try to use this magnetic curtain holder, but the drapes are too thick for it to hold it. So I just end up using my sequin holder, and it holds it nicely in place. But I do end up using those drape hangers to the side. So I'll bring you closer so you can see what I do with all this fabric on the floor. We have to fold this in, but remember, you're not just folding the fabric in, you have to follow the line of the fabric, or the order of how you put the fabric from the top, right? So it gives it that continuous design all the way to the bottom. We're creating these puddles of fabric down there, just gathering, and we're also folding our back fabric. So I'm following with the glitz navy blue, followed by the silver glitz fabric, then our 4-way stretch navy fabric, then back to our silver glitz, then our navy glitz. So we want it in that order because you want it to flow from the top to the bottom. Same with this front, we have the white, the silver, the navy, the silver, and the white. That's the order you're putting it in, tucking all that fabric in to create the backdrop. I have a lot more fabric because I try to buy my fabrics longer in case I have thicker or taller backdrops. Then I don't have to have a lot of fabrics in the same color. These are the curtain holes that are magnetic. I just put that on, and that side is fine because the fabric is not as thick on the sides compared to the middle that has double the fabric. So we are done there. I found a chair. I'm going to lower that side and release my fabric on that blue so it comes down a little bit more. I'm checking to see if it's even, and it's not quite, so I'm going to release it a little bit more, and that will be that piece of the fabric. So we're nearly done with our setup. I'm just going to rearrange a few things at my booth, go change, and be ready for all the brides and their families, bride-to-be and their families that come in. I decided that this table looked chaotic, so I'm moving all the gold chargers to one side, having the black in the middle, then the silver on the right, and the rose gold next to the black, just so it doesn't look, it looks more organized than how it was yesterday. So napkins on and all that on the table, putting my flowers. I brought these flowers that were not quite finished. I'm going to finish that up here shortly, trying to make sure the table is not too cluttered and that my drapes can still be seen. Checking out the shade of blue on the flowers and just deciding how I want it to look. I figured the shade of blue that I'm holding now will look a lot better against this backdrop. So I'm taking off that other blue shade that has the white and the bright blue and swapping it out for this grayish blue. hydrangea just to add a touch of color. The other blue didn't work, and then I'll add some blue roses as well. So that should add a nice look to the flowers. Then we have this bright blue rose that we're adding on. My daughter is calling about her events for the day. I'm actually good on time, so I'm gonna use this smaller floral foam with the suction on the bottom to design some flowers at the bottom of the candelabra that gives people an option of other things they can use. So I'm leaving one blank and putting flowers at the base of this. Those flowers are done. Now we're going to add our Sodo Creations silverware. We have two designs in silver and gold, arranging those on the charger plates along the charger plates just to give our table a complete look. Now I designed this stand on Canva and ordered it. I can't remember where I ordered it, but I love it because it's collapsible and can be kept well, and it's easy to assemble. So I might design a couple more of this so that I can take it, have it in at the venue for different things. But it's so easy to install, and that is what I designed to give people an idea of what we do. We have the event center, decor packages, and rentals that you can use. And here are a few pictures of the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a blessed week. Questions in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.